Devastation, complete devastation. Wow. Wow, do we have some stocks crashing off a cliff right now, folks. I thought I'd react to what's going on here in the market, share my opinions and perspectives. We're going to talk about so many stocks in this video. It's going to be ridiculous. We're not going to react to any YouTube videos or articles in this one here today, and the reason being is just I thought the market itself was worth a reaction. Appreciate y'all joining me. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being subscribed to the channel. Yeah, we're getting real interesting on this market now at this point in time, okay? So, I mean, looking at my possible buys watch list here, it's Red Dead Redemption all over the place. I mean, just all over the place, right? Starting out here looking at Celsius right off the bat, this is about a 10-week chart here for Celsius. This is about the past 10, 11 weeks or so. And the stock's dropped now 53.3%. And it's really showing no signs of a bottom. That's what's insane in regards to the situation is it's just not showing any signs of bottom. Like you want to see like an extended period for like a month straight of where the stock's kind of like bottoming out, and it's just not showing that. It just continues to go lower and lower and lower. And the crazy thing is the indexes haven't even really been hit that hard. So you got to wonder, what if the indexes actually got hit that hard? How much would some of these stocks be down in that situation, right? Looking at Shopify, this is another stock that's just having a brutal time out there, right? You know, in the past year, surprisingly enough, Shopify is down about 15%. So Shopify's got beat by the market significantly recently, right? And the other shocking thing with Shopify, if you look at a 5-year, the stock's only up 72%. Now, 72% over 5 years is still pretty good, right? But this is Shopify we're talking about. And we're talking about over the past 5 years, like Shopify became obviously like a household name now at this point in time, huge business. And to see that stock only around there is pretty interesting. Now, in regards to Celsius, forward P, you know, if analyst estimates are correct, forward P about 43, 2-year out forward P about 27. So Celsius is getting real interesting. If I can get this forward P under 40, I'm going to have to start a position in Celsius. I've done enough study on the business model now at this point in time that I would feel comfortable buying Celsius stock, not as a main course stock, not as an entree, but as a side dish. So yeah, because even if Celsius doesn't hit these sorts of growth rates, which is possible they don't, right? Like, let's say they don't hit the 31% expected revenue growth for this year and 47%. Even if this company was growing like 15 to 20% range, I would still feel very comfortable owning Celsius stock. And is Celsius stock going to be a moneymaker, let's say in 2025 and 2026? I would say there's a pretty high probability it will be a moneymaker in those particular years. Now you look at something like a Shopify, right? Which is, that stock's being chopped up right now, chopped up. 2-year out forward P about 40 on this one, which might seem high, but you got to remember, Shopify is one of these companies that you expect to grow 20% plus a year, top line, for long into the future. Outside of some crazy epic recession or something like that, they're a 20% grower a year, right? And so there's just not that many companies that you can count on growing 20% plus clips. Shopify is one of the very few in regards to this one. So yeah, and in regards to Shopify, is there any real news in regards to this one recently? Let's see, Shopify. Like, is there any analyst e-commerce stock slide after earnings largely disappoint? Amazon on deck. Biggest stock gainers. This was what, yesterday? Oh, this was on Tuesday. Oh, July 16th. So there really hasn't been any news in regards to Shopify here recently. What about Celsius? Are they still coming out with the downgrades of Celsius holdings? Let's take a peek here. So, wow, 44.40, right? Oh man, 4444. I might have to step in. Nielsen, this is back on July 23rd. They were talking about Celsius doing well here. Interesting. What are they saying about Celsius here? Celsius added a bit more market share with a 15.2% sales jump, although its percentage of promotional sales was higher, according to Morgan Stanley. That's the other. Some people are a little worried about top-line revenue numbers in regards to Celsius, and others are worried about margins. And then you got others worried about both, right? And that's why I think you're kind of seeing that flood out of that stock, is people worried about top-line, people worried about margins, right? And what does that mean for profitability? Celsius, I don't think, is really a company focused on profitability short term. So I think if people are really focused on just the EPS and the margins in the short term, They're probably making a little mistake there. Celsius is really just about continuing to grab market share. So, but that's going on with that, right? You have SoFi looking like a snack here today, down about 6%, right? Completely risk off in regards to SoFi. Now, in a 1 year, this baby's down about 31%. Whew, it's been tough, right? Wins under 80. Given that wins are now under 80, it's pricing in recession. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Whenever win goes under 80, it's basically pricing in either a recession or something very bad happening to its business model. And you can see this throughout any time period throughout the company's business model, right? Here you had great financial crisis, so it was pricing in the great financial crisis, right? Here it was pricing in the Macau crackdown in massive slowdown in the Chinese economy at this particular drop here, right? This was the late 2018 drop, priced that baby in. Then obviously we had the Rona crash, right? And then we had Macau continuing to stay closed down during this time period. So the stock obviously priced that in. And now we got this most recent drop here. So Wynn's a great company for the long term. It's a great buying opportunity for anybody that wants to have, let's call it exposure to the resort and travel industry, and specifically in the high end, right? So Ulta Beauty's having a tough go at it. On a 1 year, this baby's now down about 22%. If we look at year to date, it's down 28, almost 29%. And surprisingly, on a 5 year, it's basically lost all its gains for the past 5 years. And that's what you're seeing from so many of these stocks. They're basically losing all of their gains in the past 5 years. And some of them are going negative now at this point in time, right? And it makes you think, man, we're actually in a stock market crash right now. It just doesn't look like it because a few of the biggest tech companies are just so freaking well run, and their business models are just so special that no one realizes we're in a stock market crash. But listen. When you look out there and you see countless great companies, right? Countless great companies that don't even have gains in the past 5 years, have lost all their gains in the past 5 years. I'm sorry, but you're in a stock market crash. And that's exactly what we have going on now at this point in time. Absolutely unbelievable, right? Lululemon can't stop going down. I mean, that stock is just, it can't. Look at this. It's off a freaking cliff. Look at this. From 510, going into this year to now 247. Stock's now down 51% this year. Don't tell me we're not in a stock market crash. We are in a stock market crash. That's insane, man. Absolutely insane. Whirlpool's back under 100 now at this point in time. That buyout rumor, it helped the stock for a little bit there, but that one's going right back down, right? On a 1 year, this baby's now down about 32%. On a 5 year, it's down 27%. EL, I might start a position in that one today. I might. EL's down 33+%. Oh my gosh. Year to date, on a 1 year, 44. Oh my gosh. 47 on a 5 year. There's a stock market crash. I'm sorry, there's no debating this. We're in a full-on stock market crash, folks. Just no one realizes it. I'm telling you, these are some of the best companies in the world. There's truly great companies outside of just, Meta and Google and Apple and Nvidia and AMD, okay? And these are these sorts of companies. Ulta, EL, these sorts of companies, they are the creme de la creme after you get through tech stocks. And to see these stocks losing all their gains in the past 5 years and then going very negative, this is a stock market crash, folks. Obviously, Zoom stock has been devastated. That one's a crazy one. Zoom's got one of the best income statements, balance sheet combos you'll find in the stock market, and an extremely stable business model. But look at, in the past 5 years, it lost 37% of its value. The company's in like a night and day difference of a better business model today than it was back then. There's going to be a lot of money I'm going to be honest with you guys, there's going to be a lot of freaking money to be made out of this whole situation. There's going to be so much money to be made. I think people that are buying a lot of these stocks over this next 6 to 12 months are going to make so much money over the next 5 years. It's ridiculous. Because these stocks will bottom out. I would say they'll probably bottom out within the next 6 to 12 months. Some of them probably might even bottom out in the fall time in Q4, right? For a lot of these consumer stocks, because this is very similar to what we saw play out in tech stocks a few years ago, right? It's just going through consumer stocks now. People are going to snap these shares up, and in a few years from now, they're going to be talking about like, I got blah, blah, blah stock at this price. And people are going to be like, no way. Kind of like I have Meta shares in my portfolio that I bought at $88.94. Somebody's selling me Meta shares back in 22 at $88.94. I have those today, right? And that exact sorts of stories is going to happen in consumer stocks where people are going to look and they're going to be like, wait, you got what stock at what price back in 2024? What? And people are just going to be shocked. And that's the situation we have going on right now. Nike, another perfect example of a stock that's lost all its gains in the past 5 years. It's down about 10% in the past 5 years, man. Extraordinary. Extraordinary. Jeez. It's insane, man. It's absolutely insane. I got to open this door. See, the issue is they were spray painting some stuff in here, and now it smells like, woo! It smells like strong spray paint in here. So I'm like, clear it out, man. Clear it out. Whoo-wee. Man, there's just deals all over this market. Let's see, Chipotle. Nice. So I only have 2 hedges on the market right now. One is put options on Chipotle. The other is I have some SQQQ exposure. So both of those are going very, very well today, obviously, right? Let's look at safety stocks. I heard Hershey's. Do I have Hershey's on here? No, I don't have Hershey's on here. I heard Hershey's reported some shocking bad number. Like crazy bad. Let's see. Hershey Company. There we go. Add that to my safety stocks watch list. But the stock's not down. But I heard they reported some. I haven't got a chance to look at their earnings yet. But I heard they reported something crazy. By the way, wow, 31% gain in the past 5 years. Not very good. On a 1 year, down 13%. Maybe it already priced stuff in. But I heard Hershey's numbers were like crazy bad. Like crazy bad. Let's see if I can pull it up here. Why does it not work properly? You know, like, come on, Seeking Alpha. So, Meta saved my butt today, by the way. Anybody that owns Meta stock out there, you got your booty saved. Same thing with PayPal. PayPal saved our butts today. Hershey shares dropped 5%. Well, it looks like it came back. After the company reported Q2 results below expectations and issued a softer profit guidance, Q2 revenues fell about 17% year over year. Doesn't seem right. With organic sales down 16.8%, including a 22% decline in North America confectionery segment. What? Adjusted gross margin decreased 200 basis points. Operating profit plunged 32.8%. The company remains optimistic about its salty snacks business. What's going on with Hershey's? Is the valuation even good on Hershey's, right? See, that's proper work there. 1000x, baby. Okay, we got it going on. I mean, stock's a decent buy, but it's not like this is like, whoa, Hershey's the greatest buy ever, right? But, I mean, in this market, you can't even think about buying something like Hershey's. There's just too many freaking other opportunities, right? There's just too many opportunities out there to even mess around with a Hershey's. If we go ahead and peek at AI stocks here today, it's Red Dead Redemption. Oh my gosh, AMD? I'm going to have to step in and buy AMD shares. Wow. This is an interesting one. Only up 12% the past 1 year now at this point in time. It's lost so much of its gains. You know, it had that crazy blow off top, which it didn't deserve. Numbers were very bad. People just got a little too hyped at that particular time. But now the stock's getting hit so bad on the downside, I don't know if it deserves this either. You know, we got to remember AMD is going to likely be going through a very nice growth cycle for the next several years. So, and they should be going through this growth cycle really regardless of the economy, just to be quite frank. So, you should see a nice acceleration. I like the setup in regards to AMD. Hey, you know, I'm going to have to listen to their conference call. That's one I haven't got to listen to. It came out a couple days ago. I'll have to listen to their conference call. I already looked over their numbers. Their numbers look good. I'm going to have to listen to their conference call and see what's going on there. Because that's a possibility that I could make a move there. And that's a real possibility. It's a real possibility. I don't know. I might have to do something there. I might have to do something. I don't know. Because, I mean, the thing that's interesting is AMD right now is at if you look at the 2-year out forward P, is significantly lower than NVIDIA. Now, this is basing off analyst estimates, right? So, something to keep in mind. But AMD could very well have better growth going forward. When I say better growth, I'm talking about not necessarily absolute numbers. I'm talking about percentage growth. AMD is very probable they'll have higher percentage revenue growth and higher percentage net income growth in 2025 and moving in future years than NVIDIA. NVIDIA's absolute numbers should be bigger. AMD's percentage growth should be bigger. So, like, look at next year EPS growth expected. AMD's at 82%, NVIDIA's at 33%. So, there might be something here with AMD. I'm warming up to AMD fast. I'll say that. I'm warming up to it fast. Meta saving everybody's booty. Palantir, their earnings come out Monday after the bell. I will be Twitch live streaming those. So if you don't follow me on Twitch, Jeremy Makes Money, I believe is my Twitch channel. Follow me on there. I'll do a wrap up of market coverage that day, and then we'll watch Palantir's earnings and probably listen to a conference call all together on that one. Obviously, it's a significant one, so we'll do it on there. And if you're wondering why I don't live stream on YouTube, it's because I start cussing way too much when I do those Twitch live streams. Sometimes something happens and then I go off, and I can't risk my rap on YouTube, babe. So looking at the banking stock watch list here today, yeah, it's pretty Red Dead Redemption. I'm going to get more concerned if we see these bank stocks break. If you see JP Morgan break under 200, Goldman Sachs break under 450, something like that, then you start getting a lot more concerned about the market. But until these bank stocks break, you can't worry too much about the economy or like there's a fundamental like issue with the market. But if those ones break, then we're talking, because this is Wall Street. Like Wall Street is JP Morgan, Wall Street is Goldman Sachs. So when those stocks break, that's when you got to start really looking around like, this is more than just market volatility, right? Big tech should be Red Dead Redemption. Oh my gosh. The only stock green today on the whole big tech watch list is Meta. That's a great feeling. Being that it's my biggest position, the fact that that stock's green, I'll take it. What did I tell you guys was going to happen? Did you watch a Twitch live stream yesterday? No, you didn't. No, you didn't. What did I tell you guys? I was paranoid on the Twitch live stream. I also have mentioned this on the main channel later on, right? That they were going to destroy everybody. And when I say destroy everybody, calls and put side. The premiums you had to pay for Meta yesterday were significant on either side. And so here we are in this moment, and they're destroying everybody that bought the out-of-the-money calls and puts. Everybody that bought puts, all losing their money on Meta. Anybody that bought calls, also losing all their money pretty much, right? Because a lot of these people bought strikes at 500, 510, 515, 520, 525, thinking, oh, big upside here in Meta. And then you're just not seeing it, right? So everybody's going to end up screwed in the end in regards to this, right? You also likely had people buying Amazon, making moves on Amazon over this past week into their earnings, thinking, oh, there's going to be some sort of big move here. Look it. They're screwing everybody in regards to Amazon as well, right? Let's say you bought calls yesterday, boom, you're already getting taken down. So even if Amazon pops now, you need it to pop huge just to get back to where it was. But the problem is you're probably at 200 strikes, right? So you need this to not only go to 190 where it was yesterday, but you need this to go to 200 plus. Right? And remember, you're going to pay a premium if you're buying a $200 strike or a 195 strike or something like that, right? Or even a 190 strike. So you need it to go significantly above that. So in order to even break even on a 190, let's say, for instance, that you might have bought yesterday, you probably need the stock to go to 197, 198, something like that, right? By this Friday. And so you need like an insane pop just to break even. Never mind talking about making money, right? The market maker ends up screwing everybody in the end. That tries to play these short-term calls and puts in regards to this, right? Ugh, do I ever have to look at this? ARC, let's look at the 5-year return, down 6% in the past 5 years. Commodities. So, commodities looking real good. WTI, I love it, man. I love it. We have no problems with inflation anymore now at this point in time moving forward. So, looking good as far as that goes. Somebody said the craziest thing to me the other day. They're like, oh, you should hedge with Bitcoin. I'm like, what? Like, people are literally just don't know anything. I'm baffled. I'm like, hedge with Bitcoin? I'm like, this is going to be the craziest thing I ever heard. Like, Bitcoin's not a hedge. Bitcoin's crashing in any sort of market drop. It's facts. It happens every single time. Anytime you get any significant drop in the NASDAQ, Bitcoin goes right down with it. It's the opposite of a hedge. Bitcoin is a call option on the NASDAQ. That's what it is. It's a call option on the NASDAQ. If the NASDAQ's going up a bunch, we're going risk on. There goes Bitcoin. Boop, 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 boop. If NASDAQ's moving down big, people are going risk off. Bitcoin, huge crash. It's what's going to continue to play out as well. And so, and also I actually trust Bitcoin less now than I trusted a year ago. You know why? Big money's involved in Bitcoin now. You got all these different ways. Wall Street's now investing in it. These guys manipulate this price all the time. So it was a wild, wild west. You got a lot of fun in Bitcoin prior to now Wall Street taking over. Now these Wall Street big boys are going to control whether Bitcoin goes up or down. Like a lot of people have not done study on the way they manipulate prices of things like commodities, which Bitcoin would be a commodity. They don't understand how Wall Street manipulates these prices. They manipulated gold and silver. And there's even, not only is there like talk about this happening over time, there's actually been proven factually that the big dogs have been manipulating prices in those sorts of markets. They will manipulate Bitcoin. And so Bitcoin will go up when they want it to go up. It will go down when they want it to go down. And so like a lot of people just aren't very educated. I'll say that. I'm like, you gotta like open up a little bit, man. Understand what happens when an asset starts to get taken over by Wall Street. Understand that. Understand that certain things aren't hedges the way you think they're hedges. Like the facts are out there, right? You got Boeing. Boeing, one of the most poorly run companies that is a big Dow component. I mean, one of the most poorly run companies I've ever seen, right? This is a special stock. When I say special stock, I'm talking specially bad. Look at the 5-year performance of Boeing. It's down almost 50%. The stock's been almost cut in half in the past 5 years. Such a poorly run company. It's unbelievable. Every time you think they're going to fix it, they get destroyed again and again and again. And it's to themselves, just to be quite frank. It's not anybody else's fault. And it's not anybody else's fault. If we look at kind of the best stocks of Dow here today, Procter & Gamble, Coca-Cola. But other than that, no bueno. No bueno. And a lot of these oil bulls, these oil bulls haven't made sense for 2 years. They try to make recession calls, but then they try to make calls that oil is going to be bullish. No, it's not. That's another thing. Like, look at history. Like, if people just looked at history a little bit, they could understand what happens. If there's a major recession, oil is not magically going to whatever price people think it's going to. It crashes every time in a recession. So the fact that a lot of these bears will try to make it's one of the most uneducated things you could ever do. Oh, I believe the recession's coming. Let me pile into oil and gas stocks. What are we doing? Like, come on, man. Come on, man. Etsy, $59 now? Wow. That's another company that's in so much better of a place nowadays than it was 5 years ago. And the stock's flat. It's lost all its gains in the past 5 years. Etsy got all the way up to, what was that, 300 here? Yeah, it pushed all the way up to about 300. And now it's $59. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I mean, this is a problem with these sorts of markets. You just have too many opportunities. Too many dang opportunities out there, right? In this economy we're going through, you got to pay attention to companies that are still reporting great numbers. Because there's so many companies that are reporting bad numbers, weak numbers, right? Pay attention to companies that are reporting really good numbers in this sort of environment, because those are the sorts of companies that coming out of this are going to perform extraordinary, right? I look at somebody like a PayPal. Look at PayPal's results. They're incredibly strong. And are we in some sort of super strong economy where the consumer is booming right now? No. And yet, freaking Hershey sales are down 17%. Year over year. Like, if Hershey sales are down 17%, you're not in a good consumer environment, right? To have PayPal report that good of numbers a couple days ago speaks volumes about how well run that company is, right? And how well they'll do when things get better, right? Look at Meta reporting 20% plus revenue growth in this environment. What do you think Meta can do in a good consumer backdrop, in a good consumer environment, right? Where the consumer is healthy, right? I mean, this is incredible. Incredible. That's the type of companies you got to pay attention to. Oh my gosh, housing stocks getting wrecked out there. Jeez. Crazy, right? And Nvidia's getting hit hard. Tesla's getting hit hard today. Planet is interesting. I could do an update on the Planet. Meta's the only green one out there today. Jeez. And travel stocks watch list. Oh my gosh, MGM down 14%. Holy smokers, that ain't no jokers, folks. Wow. Well, take advantage of deals out there, folks. You got deals. There's going to be a lot of deals over this next few months. And this is a sort of market that you pick up some of these great consumer names over this next 6 to 12 months. I think specifically over the next, I would say more 3 to 6 months than 12 months, but even out to 12 months, because you got to understand, even when these stocks start bottoming and going up, there's still going to be a steal deal, right? Kind of no different than look at the big tech stocks in 2022. They bottomed and they started going up. Even after they started going up, they were still steal deals. Like when Meta went from 80 something dollars to 120, it was still a steal at 120. And then when it went to 180, it was still a steal at 180, right? Keep in mind that same exact thing's going to play out in a lot of these consumer stocks. They'll eventually bottom. I would say probably bottom in the fourth quarter of this year. That's, it might be sooner, it might be a little later than that. I'm saying somewhere around there roughly, right? And then they'll start moving up. And then there's still going to be a steal deal after that for at least the next probably 6 to 12 months after they bottom, okay? And so they'll still remain a buy in that situation. And then I think, 3 years from now, no. 3 years from now, 5 years from now, people will look back at the stocks people were buying in the second half of 2022 or 2024 in regards to a lot of consumer names, and they're going to look and they'll say, oh my gosh, like what steal deals we had. Like, wow, there was deals all over this market. And the people that didn't take advantage of it are going to look back and like, dang, I should have taken this stuff more serious, okay? If you need help understanding things like income statements, balance sheets, cash flows, how to value a stock, how to figure out if you're getting a great deal on a stock, if you're getting a bad deal on a stock, all those sorts of things, pin comment down there today. I'll put my private group. I'll put 1000X. If you want to apply to join those sorts of services that can help you bring your game up to a much higher level so you can kind of learn a lot of this stuff and like realize and be taught from somebody that's been doing this for 15 years on a high level, right? You guys know my success in the market. You know everything I'm up to, right? Like learn from me, learn deeper, bring your game up. You'll be very happy you did. Very happy you did. I speak to private group members literally every single day, and they're always tremendously happy. They've made an investment in themselves to bring their game up to a much higher level because they're just in so much of a better spot than they would have been if they didn't do it. And they just were going about it by themselves and they didn't know any of that stuff. They didn't know how to value companies, because then you're just throwing money around gambling and you don't really know what you're doing, right? You don't want to feel like you're gambling the market. You want to feel like you're making wise investment decisions and you want to feel confident when you go to buy a stock. And if a stock price goes down in the short term, you want to feel confident going in to buy more shares. Like, I'm going to make a lot of money in the end and understanding how to value these companies properly. Because you don't understand how to value them properly, you could get stuck in like a Celsius situation, right? Where people are, valuing that at certain high multiples and then you drop 50+% in a snap of fingers, right? Or a Lululemon situation where that stock drops 50+% so far this year. So, you don't want to be stuck in those situations. You want the real opportunities out there. Okay, guys? Appreciate you joining me as always. Much love and have a great day.